You are someone who eats well, maybe you eat clean. You are someone who trains hard, maybe you are very aware of your health habits, you track your sleep, you maybe wear a Fitbit or an Oura Ring or a Whoop strap, and you're very interested in living a very healthy life. But despite eating well, you just can't seem to have energy in your sessions. Maybe it's getting to like halfway through the session and you're just powering down a little bit, you can't quite bring the intensity that you want to. Or maybe it's that 2, 3, 4 p.m. window at work and you're not just hungry, you're hangry, you're powering down, you're not able to be as present as you want to be. So the unfortunate truth here is that eating well, I mean, it's a great start, but it's not everything you need to do to actually increase your energy levels and performance. So what do you need to do? Well, I've got some blocks here, and I'm going to explain to you a very simple strategy that you can implement as of, well, tomorrow and start seeing results. So if you're able to stay to the end of this video, I'm going to explain 4 key steps that you can take, and if you embrace these, you will start having consistent energy across the day. You're going to start feeling better in all of your sessions, regardless if they're morning sessions, afternoon sessions, or if you just want more energy in that afternoon period. Because it may be that you've accidentally are eating in a way, although it's a healthy diet, you're eating in a way that is making life harder for yourself. Your hormones are working against you a little bit in terms of your appetite. So if we can get those things working for you, then actually what's going to happen is your cravings are going to come down, your performance is going to come up, and this whole process of managing your health is going to come a lot easier. And maybe if you're tracking things like sleep, you'll actually see some quantitative data and some success there too. Now you might be thinking, well, what's going on here, James? Well, I've done this. Well, maybe not this exact analogy with all my clients because I wouldn't get building blocks out, but I've explained this concept to a lot of my clients, people in exactly your shoes, people who are health conscious, are working hard, but can't seem to get their energy levels right. And when they understand this, and the reason I'm using blocks is just because it makes it so visual that it's actually going to make you want to make change. When it registers it on that deeper level, you're like, right, okay, I now know what to do, I get it. So in this video, I'm going to explain this analogy. I'm then going to summarize 4 key steps that you can take, and I'm going to make them really easy because I'm going to explain them as we go. And if you're able to listen to the end, I'm going to give you all of that success. So let's dive into it. This is an example of all of the energy that you eat across your day. So however many calories that is, not really going to give this a caloric number because I don't see that as a long-term way of managing your health. I don't want people logging, I don't see that as a forever habit, tracking calories. Can be quite an educational habit, but used periodically. So here's a common example of what I see. We have a grab and go breakfast. We have something rather small here. Let's just move a couple of these out of the way. Grab and go breakfast. Now, actually, sometimes this even gets missed because of the chaos of the morning, but it's something. Training may happen before or after, it may not. You may feel too tired in the morning. But what I often hear, and this may resonate, is I'm too full. Actually, I don't feel hungry in the morning, James. So it's normally like a coffee. Let's put this in for our coffee. It's a coffee, something small, and out the door if the something small is in there anyway. We then get a little bit through the mid-morning and we're starting to feel hungry already, but we're making healthy choices, right? So it's the protein bar, it's the crudities, it's that our PT has said we need to eat less and exercise more to get our results. So it's a small bit of fruit. We don't have very much here, so I'm going to put in that one small bit of energy. Then we struggle through the late afternoon. We've got meetings, we're with kids, we're busy. We then have our healthy lunch. It's going to be 2 blocks, okay? May or may not have carbohydrate in that, but it's our continuation of living our healthy lifestyle. We've got a small packed lunch. We're going to get through that, but we potentially are starting to power down already. So actually, we may have another coffee here potentially. Gets through the mid-afternoon, we start crashing. Now, that's where the biscuits, the donuts, whatever is available, raiding the kids' food cabinet, whatever's available at work when the cake comes around, they look a lot more attractive. But because you are so health conscious and you're very disciplined, you're able to override a lot of that. So you're strict, you're someone who eats well. Again, not going to use the word eating clean. So you may or may not have that. It may be bigger in some cases where you do, and you'll listen to those hunger signals and you think, actually, let's have something. I'm going to have a donut there. Or you may not. So we have something small. Sometimes we train here because you're, again, really mentally strong. You're able to push past all of that feeling low energy and you get out and do something here anyway. Whether that happens or not, you then come home and the signal to eat is big. We have a lot of blocks here. If I can stack them. My daughter's actually better at stacking them than me at the moment. Okay, so we have an absolute monster feeding here. I can leave these two ones out. This is getting back, it's raiding the cat fridge, it's opening it up, like, I'm famished, I just need to eat here. And when you put it in this perspective, suddenly you kind of realize, well, maybe this is why I'm not feeling that hungry in the morning, because we've had a very, very large meal late at night. We've finished the kids' plate as well as our own. We've had the same size meal as our partner, even though they're a lot larger than us, potentially. They need more food. So what is going on here? Well, if we can shuffle this around, it's going to make it a lot easier. Actually, for this analogy, I'm going to put these here. No, I'll leave them out. Let's shuffle things around and see what happens. So again, without putting any detail on what it is that you're having, because I'm pretty sure that you're eating well. And actually, a lot of my clients come to me saying, James, I eat well, but I'm low energy. I've got inconsistent energy. So let's not focus on what for now. Let's just focus on the timing and how much. So if we redistribute, if we have 4, and if you're someone who's thinking, James, why are you not doing this in colours? If that really frustrates you, I'm sorry. Breakfast, if we have 4 here, we then might have something mid-morning. We then have 4 blocks for lunch. Whether you want to snack or not, I don't mind. In fact, snacking, it's like a genetic thing. It's whether you have a certain gene, whether you are someone who likes snacking or whether you want to eat 3 main meals. And in terms of timing there, it doesn't really matter. So do what you prefer. But the key thing is that suddenly we've split our energy distribution a lot more gradually over the day. So what happens now when we wake up? Well, you might be thinking, James, but I wake up and I'm not hungry. So this is where we have to embrace the process a little bit. By focusing on, or instead of focusing on, right, I'm going to restrict and have less here, let's flip it on its head. Let's think about putting more in. So we're going to put more in at breakfast. And again, that's going to feel very counterproductive because you might be someone who's working towards a body composition goal. You might be so health conscious, you're thinking, I can't eat too many calories. But again, this is where the leap of faith comes. So we're going to embrace eating a bit more earlier in the day, especially so if you train in the morning. If you want to have your coffee there, feel free. I'm not going to cut you off from your coffee supply. By doing this, I then want you to listen to how you feel through here. The chances are you're going to feel very different. You're then going to get to lunch not ravenous. So instead of having your healthy choice and also having a little bit of a snack here or there or whatever's left over at work or that little picky bit that you sometimes have, you can just embrace having your lunch that you've prepared. But the key thing is that lunch that you've prepared is a little bit bigger than normal. Because remember, we're distributing it a bit more evenly. If you think about like an active energy level, we don't want your active energy level to be on the floor and then up here. We want it to be a bit more consistent. So we're going to put something in here, and I'm going to allude to the fact that I want a little bit more slow releasing carbohydrate here as well. So instead of just having a salad and some meat or some fish or some like vegetables, let's actually put some grains in, let's put some potato in, let's put something in there that's going to provide some slow releasing energy so that we feel good in that early afternoon session where we normally crash. Here, we're then going to be having a smaller dinner. Now it might be that you've got a habit with dinner where you're so hungry you just go for seconds without really noticing it, or you portion up a very large plate. So if you're going to be embracing this, and we're going to be doing it without logging everything on your phone, what I want you to do is really consider your hunger levels before. how hungry actually am I? How much do I want to put on my plate? I'm going to really focus on eating slowly, because what I sometimes find is that clients eat very quickly here because they're so hungry. So it's get the food in, get it down. It makes it harder to know how much you're having and when to stop. So we're going to be critical here. We're going to portion that out. Then we're going to go to bed. And because we haven't over-consumed here, it's then going to sleep, you're going to wake up, you're going to feel hungry, you're going to feel like you want to have this bigger breakfast. That will happen after a couple of days. So max a week, you actually will wake up, your body's going to start getting it, this routine. You're going to wake up hungry, you're going to feel good through the morning, have your lunch, feel good through the afternoon, have your dinner. It sounds so simple when you put it like that, right? But if we remember our old strategy, where we had less, a little bit more, a lot, and then we're actually relying on coffee, a bit more coffee, maybe another coffee. When we're relying on that coffee to help with our energy levels, all of that coffee here is actually going to negatively impact this sleep. So you wake up feeling more tired, and therefore it makes this whole process harder. So if you are someone who, maybe you're a self-proclaimed coffee head, you love your coffee, let's be critical with caffeine too. So by all means, have one in the morning. Potentially have another one here if you find that coffee doesn't necessarily rev you up a huge amount. But I would recommend capping it at 2 and trying to stop having caffeine after, say, midday or maybe 1 p.m. The reason for that is that caffeine stays in your system for a long period of time. 8 hours is the half-life of caffeine. So if you have a double here and a double here, it's still going to be in your system while you're sleeping. Whether you can get off to sleep or not, it's going to compromise your quality. Low sleep, as I'm sure you're aware, being a health-conscious person, you're tracking things, you know the power of sleep. Making that small change is going to make all of these nutritional changes easier. And it's my job to make this whole process for you feel as easy as possible. It's not about being disciplined and fighting your hormones and being strict with your diet. It's about teeing things up in a way that makes it easy for you. So, hopefully this has made sense. Let me summarize with the 4 key points I want you to follow and really put into practice. Just like a huge amount of my clients have done, because you're not alone in this. Actually, it's a very, very common thing in that you're told you just need to eat less and work harder. And that makes the system that we have here, it makes that happen a lot more, because it's like, right, I need to start the day and have less. And then we push harder and we train more. And this is why this system is created. But when you get it right, it feels effortless. So first thing to consider, this first key factor is energy. I want you to try and distribute your energy more evenly over the day. The focus is on addition instead of subtraction. So we're putting more in at the start of the day and we're trusting that our body is going to signal to us that in the evening we're not as hungry, and it will. The second thing to do is to be mindful. So instead of putting more in and then following our habits in the evening or the mid-afternoon and finding that we're still doing the same thing, such as when we're making a coffee, we're having a cake. Actually, do we want that? If we're in the evening, we're just automatically having seconds. Let's be critical. How much is going on the plate? So we're combining the energy distribution with a mindful eating approach. Okay, so energy, mindful eating. The second thing is that I want you to be critical with your caffeine intake. So having 1 or 2 in the morning, 1 or 2 coffees before 12, fine, fill your boots. But if you are someone who is having a lot more than that, I would strongly recommend reducing to 2 in the morning, because it's going to make this whole process easier. Now, if you love coffee, feel free to move to decaf. Absolutely fine. Coffee, don't get me wrong, very healthful drink, full of polyphenols, it's great for us. But it's the amount of caffeine that you're consuming which is going to be impacting your energy because of the lack of sleep, making it harder to manage your nutritional choices. The fourth thing, so let's just recover, energy, mindful eating, being critical with caffeine. The fourth thing here is trust. Now, it's probably going to feel like you're trusting me a little bit, but actually you're just trusting this process and you're trusting your body. Your body will guide you to eat the right amount. It's just we're now tweaking a few things. We're making it easier for your body's signals, for your body's hormones to guide you the right way. Okay, hopefully that has been helpful. If you found that insightful, then feel free to give me a follow on my channel. I've sort of teased the fact around training a little bit here. If you're someone who trains a lot and you struggle with energy, you might want to go deeper than this. And I mean, we can't really get it much more simple than children's blocks. In my other video, I explain a lot more about carbohydrate, fueling and refueling. So when to have more energy, but actually specifically when to have more carbohydrate to allow you to fuel, refuel, feel good in your training as well as in your life. So feel free to click the link as well for my other video that dives into that. Now, when you get this right, you will start feeling more consistent, more high energy, hungrier in the morning, and it's suddenly going to become easier. You're going to be able to follow your body's signals without counting calories. Okay, that's the goal. That's what we're working towards. Now, I really hope that you feel like you can reach out to me. So put a comment on this video. Drop me a DM on Instagram. I'm going to reply to you. I want you to succeed because I know you can. I've had clients go through this. I mean, again, not with these blocks, but go through this process of trusting that their body is going to serve them well. And it works. So you can do it. I know you can. Feel free to reach out.